So yesterday we talked about using small moments, coming up with a list of small moments, and coming up with ones that would help us think of things that we could write stories about in times that we felt certain ways. Today I want to talk to you about other ways to collect stories. Another way to collect a story is by collecting stories I wish existed. Sometimes you go to the library and you're hoping to find a character like yourself in a situation maybe like you are, and you're hoping that you find something that you can relate to, and it just isn't on the shelf. That's why some of you say there's nothing good in this library. Well, sometimes when you can't find the story you want, it's just time to sit down and write it. And that's what we're going to be doing in this unit, is we're going to be writing a story. So you have the opportunity here to create a story, a realistic story, that will be about something that you can relate to. So I came up with a couple of ideas. The first idea that I came up with was kind of taking a character a little bit like me. Now, to understand this a little bit, let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm the youngest. I'm the only girl. And I'm the youngest by a lot. So I was kind of a daddy's girl and I kind of was spoiled. But I also wasn't always healthy. So my parents were very overprotective. So it was hard for me to find characters in books that I could relate to. So I didn't really like to read too much until I got older. And now I kind of like to read about other people's lives because I think mine's kind of boring. But here's the story that I think I'd like to see. I think I'd like to have a character a little bit like me. Maybe she's a little bit nerdy. She's not a bookworm or anything like that. Maybe her grades aren't great. Maybe they're just sort of average. Maybe she has overprotective parents, the way that mine were. And let's top it off with something that's not quite true. Let's say her dad travels all the time and she's left at home with her mom. But she's a daddy's girl, so she really misses him. Now, maybe my story is going to revolve around something happening to Dad and how this character has to learn to deal with that. Now, that's kind of vague. Maybe I'll make him die. Maybe I'll just make there be something like a car accident and make it a little less morbid. I don't know yet. I'll think about it. Or maybe better yet, I'll write kind of a mother-daughter story. How many of you have ever um, read the book? Golly, it just flew out of my brain. Anyway, there's a book where each chapter is tells kind of the same story but from a different person's perspective. Well, how many of you have different perspectives than your mom on something, or your dad, or your grandma? Maybe it's something that you argue about. My mom and I fought all the time growing up because I was a daddy's girl and he gave me everything I wanted. And my mom had to be the bad guy a lot. And I didn't understand that when I was a kid. So maybe for my mother-daughter story, maybe I would write it like, one chapter from mom's perspective and the next chapter the same events from the daughter's perspective. And we can start talking about point of view with that. Now, I still don't know what I'm going to have happen. Maybe it would just be from maybe it would just be kind of a day in the life of, a year in the life, maybe a girl that's a freshman in high school, kind of what it's like to have boyfriends and go on dates, and a mom that's on her back all the time, and maybe eventually she'll have to see things from a different perspective. That might work. Maybe she has a little sister and she gets stuck having to watch her. And her little sister does something and she feels like she's the mom all of a sudden. Something. I don't really know what stories I wish existed, but this is part of your job today, is to come up with 3 story ideas that you wish existed. Okay? You need to really start thinking about this, as we're probably going to take one of these ideas and we're going to develop it into an actual story. So The more ideas you have, the better off you are. If your slide gets full, as mine's beginning to here, click on the plus sign, add yourself another slide. Don't limit yourself to one. Use as many as you need, okay? But be sure before you're done today that you go up to your table of contents and you add slide 4 and 5 if you need to for stories you wish existed. Once that's done and you've got at least 3 good story ideas down here, then you can be done for today. Happy writing!